What if I told you the most profound moment of the First World War wasn't a victory parade, a dramatic battle, or a famous speech? It was a moment where nothing happened. No bullets, no bombs, just silence. On November 11th, 1918, at exactly 11 a.m., a war that had claimed millions simply stopped. The guns, those monstrous machines of thunder and death, fell silent. This is the story of that moment, the moment when the world, battered and bleeding, finally breathed again. World War I began in the summer of 1914, carried on the shoulders of empires and wrapped in flags. Across Europe, men enlisted with pride. They believed it would be quick, noble. Home by Christmas, they were told. But Christmas came and went, and the war had only begun. The front lines froze into miles of trenches, deep scars in the earth, filled with rats, mud, and misery. Machine guns tore men apart by the thousands. Artillery left craters where towns once stood. Gas attacks turned lungs to fire, and in that horror, humanity slipped away. Year after year, the war dragged on. A generation vanished in the mud. By 1917, the world was breaking. The Russian Empire had collapsed. America had entered the fight. The old world was dying, and no one could stop the bleeding. Then came 1918. Germany's final offensive failed. Its army, starved and exhausted, began to retreat. Back home, protests erupted. Soldiers mutinied. Peace was no longer a hope. It was a necessity. On the morning of November 11th at 5 a.m., German and Allied leaders met in a railway carriage in the forest of Compiègne, France. There, they signed the armistice, a ceasefire. The war would end exactly 6 hours later at 11 a.m. But those 6 hours weren't peaceful. Across the front, soldiers were ordered to keep fighting. Some generals, knowing peace was coming, still pushed for one last victory, for glory, for ego, for promotion. And so, between 5 a.m. and 11 a.m., men continued to die. More than 10,000 casualties, over 2,000 deaths. Even after peace was signed, the war took its final breath in blood. Then, at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, it happened. The gunfire stopped. The shelling ceased. The sky, once thick with smoke, cleared, and there was nothing. Birdsong returned. Winds whispered through broken branches. Men stood in disbelief. Some cried. Some laughed. Some dropped to their knees. For the first time in 4 years, there was no sound of death, just silence. And in that silence, the war was over. That silence became sacred. It wasn't the sound of victory. It was the sound of survival, of sorrow, of remembering. Every year since, on November 11th, we pause, we reflect. We honor not just the silence, but the price paid to earn it. Because the day the guns fell silent reminds us of the noise they should never make again, lest we forget.